Hi. Tonight's show is on vibration, sound, and how it relates to our bodies. A few years back, I had a very interesting experience. A man who had a Native American drum, and he resonated this drum all around my body. And my body resonated right along with it. What an impact it had on me. So tonight we put together a great show on vibrational immersion. And we have a special interview with Tom Kushwa, a man who's invented a technology using the ancient instrument, the harp. It's called harp healing. So get ready to get harped on HealthVOX.
Hello, I'm Kevin Shuker, and today we bring you some incredible information about vibrational healing. This may be new to some of you, but it has been passed down to us from ancient cultures. In ancient Egypt and Sumeria, we see people playing harps, and we know that these were working with the frequencies inside our body. To look at ourselves as vibrational beings is to look at ourselves as more than just being made up of flesh and blood and bones, and to see us as having an energetic component. This falls into two types of physical thinking. We have Newtonian physics, and if we looked at a Newtonian atom, it would look like this. We have a central core and lots of electrons floating around it. But if we were to look at a quantum atom, it would look like this. There would be nothing there, because the atom would be made up of energy. Because quantum physics states that everything in the universe is an accumulation of frequencies that we kind of got to know as radio waves. We can hear them sometimes and that we can tune into a radio, but we can't see them. Without these frequencies, our bodies would just be a mixed up jumble of chemicals, and it's their frequency, their movement that imparts movement to us. Pythagoras stated, when the magical power of sound and color are rediscovered and directed to specific purposes, there will be energies of higher dimension transcending those unleashed by the atom today. Knowledge of vibrational frequencies has been around for thousands of years, dating back to the Egyptians and the ancient legends of Atlantis. Sound has been described as the connection of humanity to divine spirit. Ever wonder why we're all different? Well, it's because we all vibrate to our own frequency. Everything in the universe vibrates to its own frequency. The body is a bioelectrical field that is affected by sound waves. For example, you can use different sounds to have different effects on your body. If you want to give yourself lots of energy, you might want to put on dance music or some rock and roll. But if you wanted to relax and go into a meditative state, then you might use something like a flute, or as we're going to see later on this evening, a harp, which may have a much different effect on your body. So, what is sound? Well, if we look in Webster's dictionary, we get a definition: the sensation of hearing, resulting from the stimulation of auditory nerves by vibrations carried in air and water. So, why do we need to know this? What is important about sound is deeply rooted within our society. We have sayings like, of sound, mind and body. Hopefully I'm here presenting a sound argument. We've all made sound investments, hopefully, and most of us know what we think sounds good or what we don't think sounds quite so good. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean if something sounds good to one person and not to another? Well, sound is so important to us that it's the only sense organ that we never turn to the off position. Even when we sleep, it is there protecting us, listening. However, the ear is not the only source of detection of sound. As most sound frequencies are coming from outside of us, not from inside of us, the cells in our skin are picking up about 40 billion bits of information, of radio frequencies every second. But we can only perceive a small amount of that pieces of information. Most of us have been to a rock concert or a loud concert, and you stand next to a speaker and you feel that vibration inside the body. Well, that sound is going deep into the tissues, and if you sit there for quite a long while, you begin to feel kind of beat up on the inside. So we do know that sound can work deep within the body and can affect our internal organs and how our internal organs feel. It has also been discovered that all internal organs vibrate at their own individual frequency. If we take the key of C, which we call a natural harmonic, it is the dominant frequency of the human brain's alpha wave. Coincidentally, it's also the same frequency of planet Earth. In fact, 8 cycles per second frequency is the one to which all life force is attuned. As we see, other organs also have their individual frequencies. Blood here has 3 to 1.9, which is equal to the musical note E. Further down the list here, we have the colon, 176, which also is equivalent to the note F. So every organ in the body can be affected by vibration that we can either record as a number, or also we could start calling it a note, a sound. So here I am today at Sharma at 332 East 4th Street in the East Village. I'm here with Tom Kushwa, who's going to show us some vibrational healing with the harp. So Tom, can you describe what we have here, these beautiful instruments?
These are specially tuned auto harps that, when placed on the body, vibrate the entire body. These 2 harps get placed on top of the body, and then these 2 harps get amplified through this special massage table that's actually what's called a vibroacoustic table that has speakers mounted on the bottom of it and create vibrations from the speakers, from the auto harps go through the bottom of the massage table.
Excellent. So I believe we're going to do a demonstration on
Yes.
This looks really great. I'm looking forward to this. It looks like a great experience. I'm here with Dana Stein, and she's going to show us a few basic ways to ground the body and clear the energy field before we have a harp session. So over to you, Dana.
All right. What I have found is that when I work with Tom and just do a clearing on the body before they go on the table, they oftentimes, always actually, have much even greater experiences when they're on the table. So it's just a nice little... Now I'm just clearing the solar plexus. You can put your hands down. Clearing the solar plexus. Okay. Now, one thing I found that with Tom is before somebody goes on the table, they have an average antakarana. Antakarana is the line that comes in from the universe. Other parlance is known as the silver cord.
Right.
All right. Once people get off the table with Tom and the harps, the antakarana is huge. It's amazing. So we'll see before and after before.
Great. Look forward to it. Great.
Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Dana.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you. So here we are. We're going to. I'm going to get up on the bed here, and Tom's going to give me a harping.
What we have here are 2 harps. These are specially tuned auto harps, and 2 harps on the side that get amplified through the table. And basically, these 2 harps, one goes over the heart chakra and one goes over basically the second chakra, or the stomach area, the solar plexus. The music will penetrate the body and massage the body from the inside out as in on a cellular level. It will vibrate all the individual cells, giving a total feeling of relaxation and well-being. So I guess we'll just start it out. And
are these harps tuned to any particular frequency?
Yes, they are. The harps are specially tuned to an F-sharp minor chord, and the F-sharp is focuses on the heart area, and the minor chord is good for emotional release. So, I guess we'll get started and give you a good taste of what's going on here, Kevin.
Hello, I'm Eric Choka, and welcome to another interview on HealthVOX. Today we're here with Tom Kushwa, who's developed an amazing technology called Get Harped, also known as harp healing. So, Tom, could you tell us a little bit about Get Harped and why you developed this?
Get Harped is a vibrational healing technique that envelops the person in sound, the healing sound of the harps. And what it consists of physically is a specially designed massage table that is wired for sound. And the person lies on top of the massage table and has harps placed on top of them, 2 harps placed on top of them, and 2 harps on the side. And they're all amplified through the massage table, giving them vibrations from below and above. It's the person immediately goes into a very relaxed, deep meditative state.
Sounds really great. So what would a typical session of Get Harped be like?
Well, I've done Get Harped in so many different settings and so many different venues that it's hard to say what a typical session is like. But in a quiet setting, a person would get on the table and then I would place the harps on top of them and I would start to play. A typical session might last anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to as much as an hour long. Towards the end of the session, I do a guided meditation to get the person out of the deep meditative state and back to the present time in a grounded fashion. I find that's very important because I don't want them to be spaced out or in any way up in the clouds when they get off the table. And that can happen because this is a very deep and very powerful modality that can put a person quite far under, and it's very important to ease them out of that in a slow manner. And that takes about maybe in a longer session, maybe take about 10 minutes to do that. So
this I'm just looking at this beautiful harp. Can you tell me something about it? It's just amazing instrument.
Well, this is one of the harps that we use for the Get Harp, and the sound of it is tuned to an F sharp minor chord, and the F sharp is focused on the heart area, so that it releases emotions from the heart. And the minor chord is also for releasing emotions. So it's the F sharp minor works on the heart area specifically, but it works on the entire body as well. So it's very good for releasing emotions from the heart area, and but you're getting the vibrations all over your body. So wherever the sound is needed, that's where it goes.
So it sounds to me that it could be very soothing kind of thing, or stimulating perhaps. Like, what are some of the effects that people get from this?
Well, I've had a variety of effects, a lot of different effects. I've had people tell me that they've had great emotional releases. I've had people tell me that they've gone on wonderful trips in terms of, like, visually. They had images of a lot of times water will come up, because it's a very kind of watery sound, and so people have images of water oftentimes come up. That's one of the things that has come up. People have reported to me that they felt vibrations on a very cellular level, and they felt it on a deep cellular level, and so that they feel their DNA being restructured in some way. And I'm only telling you what they report. And they report geometrical shapes and a lot of things at work in their body. So I'm very gratified at that. Another thing I'd like to bring up is that oftentimes a person gets on the table and they've never had any experience doing any kind of energy work or any kind of meditation work at all. And oftentimes this is their first introduction in a, let's say, in a party situation. This is like a first introduction to any kind of inward-looking meditative experience. And so it's gratifying for me to see people react in such a way, in such, and they get off the table and they express such awe of what has happened, that I believe that it has changed their life in some way.
Well, thank you, Tom. That was quite an amazing experience. It's I felt as if somebody was playing my body. It was really quite extraordinary. How long was that? I wasn't really aware of how long.
That was probably 5 minutes.
And how long would a normal session?
A normal session can last anywhere from 5 minutes to, I don't know, I've had people on the table for 2 hours.
Really? Wow.
But I think a normal session runs anywhere from a half to 3/4 of an hour.
Wow. And I felt sort of like a vibration, especially on the lower one, sort of like deep inside. I could feel the vibration that was going right the way through my body. First my body was very hot, and then I kind of like cooled down a little bit, and then I felt like I was going on a little journey somewhere, but I could feel like everywhere through my body. I could feel the ripples starting inside me and then moving outwards, like ripples in a pond that were moving out. It was quite extraordinary.
Yeah, the amazing thing, visually looking at it, you wouldn't think that it would have that much of an effect on the body. But once you get on the table, you realize it's deceptive, because we're used to hearing the harps through our ears, but what's actually happening is you're feeling the harps through your body, which is the interesting part of this. But when you're on the table, it has a big effect. It has a much larger effect than you think it does just looking at what's going on, because we're not used to feeling vibrations with our body.
and I could feel the deeper bass beat coming up through my feet, through like a more first chakra kind of feeling.
Right.
And then this was much lighter coming up through the body. It was really very special.
Good.
Very special.
Thank you.
So I want to say thank you for Tom for sharing this great information with us, and what a great experience. And I truly believe you have to experience this to really appreciate it. So how can people contact you?
Well, I have a website, which is www.harphealing.com. My name is Tom Kushwa. You can email me through that website or give me a call at 212-228-2615 about the harp healing. And it's available for events and for private sessions. So it works very well in an event setting where people are gathered around and have take turns coming on the table. It works very well in that setting.
I bet even the people who are listening get some sort of healing.
Yes, yeah.
I would think it would be. Well, it's really great, and thank you again for sharing it with us. I'm Kevin Shuker from the Bright Eyes World Health Network.
Tom, this is really amazing. I mean, I haven't seen anything like Get Harp before. But how does this relate to the history of harps?
Harps go back a very long way in human history. And I actually have a picture on the website of harps being played by these shaman priests in Mesopotamia. This is before the Greeks, before the Romans, which we usually associate with harps. And it was obviously in some sort of ceremonial setting. And so there's a very, very long history of human usage and harps. Of course, the Greeks that we associate with harps used it very much for healing. And Pythagoras said to if you're in need of healing, that you should seek out a good harp player. And so,
all right.
And I think he knew what he was talking about. But they go way back in human usage, and I think that's why we resonate with them inside so much, is that we have a long history of using harps, and it brings to mind old memories that we have, maybe from past lives, or from or back in the limbic brain of the head, that we're bringing out these old memories, and that's why people respond to it so well. The harps envelop the person with these very loving vibrations. So it's the vibrations of love that they were responding to. And I think that's why harps have been, throughout history, used in one way or another.
Yeah, I think it's really undeniable that vibration has an effect on us, be it in music, and in so many ways. Like energy is basically vibration, and all atoms in our body are vibrating. So
that's true. And here in New York, we've just been, when we walk down the street, we're just bombarded with vibrations, and most of them are a negative sort of type, or noise vibrations. There's noise pollution, and this is an opportunity to kind of entrain the body to like higher levels of vibration, to really bathe the body in these soothing vibrations, and people are just responding to it really well. There seems to be a big need for it.
Fantastic. Tom, I've seen you at various events in New York City doing Get Harped. So what inspired you to make this available to everybody?
Well, I felt a need in myself for this kind of work. And after doing it on myself and helping myself heal emotionally, it just was a natural development that I do it on friends, and they gave a fantastic response. And then I did it in a party situation to friends in a party situation, and they had a tremendous response. So all along the way, I've just been getting such tremendous feedback, and that people have expressed such desire for this, that it's just spurred me on to develop it, and it took on a kind of a logic of its own. I had to just sort of follow my instincts with it, and it felt as though it came very easily, and other things in my life haven't come that easily. So it was sort of like a signal from the universe that this is good. You have to push this. So I feel this time, there's a real need for this kind of work right now, and so I think it's just felt important that I get this out there.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. You've taken it, you've gone out there and you're doing it. You're making this something that people can just experience and get so much from. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us and tell our viewers about this great thing you're doing. And we hope to see you again on HealthVOX.
Thank you.
Until next time, I don't know what to say.